welcome to this presentation. My name is Catherine Mossman. Through my ongoing reading of the contact reports, I came across a series of contact reports spread out over about 7 years that relayed the whole information about an amazing journey that Ptaah and his crew made into a foreign universe. And I find it really remarkable and stunning the high degree of technology that they achieved to do this. And so I thought I'd just gather all these reports together in one place and put them into a presentation just because it's so interesting. A lot of you may know about this already, but a lot of you also may not, or it's always good to refresh your memory. So here we go. It begins with the conversation with Billy and Ptaah on July 20th. This is Contact Report 328 in 2002. And here we're finding about the nature of the creations and the universes that surround our own twin universes, that is, creations and universes that exist outside of the Dern and the Dal. And let's just start with their conversation. Just after sentence 141, Billy is asking Ptaah, what about foreigners outside of our Dern universe coming into our universe from a foreign universe, apart from Asket's race from the Dal universe? Ptaah, something like that is not known to us. Even our very extensive monitoring and constant checks have never revealed anything that would indicate such events. Billy, there's no possibility? Ptaah, well, at least it is extremely small because outside of our Dern/Dal twin universes, we are mostly surrounded by universes that are only of a fine material nature and therefore much more highly developed than our two universes. This is also the reason why we cannot break into these universes. Billy, so you have already explored this. Interesting. But how are you supposed to get into another material universe as you want to do? It is a mystery to me. Somehow you should be able to create a highly concentrated energy channel through the fine material universes, or something like a wormhole that goes through all the higher evolutionary universes to a lower material creation universe, as stated in Nokadamian's teachings. But you cannot reach his storage banks, meaning how would they be able to access that knowledge? Ptaah, amazing that you know about this. Apparently, you have more knowledge in these matters than you have ever mentioned to us. Your explanation corresponds to the actual facts, but I must confess to you that our own scientists did not gain the knowledge and find the solution to be able to enter this foreign universe. The truth is that we have obtained the knowledge and plans and formulas, etc., elsewhere. Billy, this can only be the very advanced humans of Asket's friends. But when will the enterprise that is to take you to a foreign universe now take place? Ptaah, there's nothing to hide from you. However, with regard to your question, I can at least assure you that the journey to the foreign universe, which is a universe of creation like ours, we have already determined will take place this year. Billy, regarding your journey to the foreign universe, I wish you the best, good success, and that everything really goes well and that you come back again. Ptaah, for my journey, dear friend, about which you are obviously very concerned for me, all necessary safety precautions have been taken and all possibilities of contingencies have been considered. Thus, it is not expected that any breakdowns will occur. So you need fear neither for me nor all my companions and the mission itself. We have already transported a transmitter station into the foreign universe through the energy channel you mentioned, in order to make trials to get test objects, which we transported to it through the energy channel, transported back via this transmitter station. All the tests in 800,000 forms have been flawless without the slightest malfunction. Billy, is this technology identical to the gate through which you can bridge immeasurable distances in our universe simply by passing through it? Ptaah, no, it is not the same technical achievement, because the technology by which an energy channel can be used by a foreign universe or higher energetic form is a much higher evolution of the technology than the one you address with the transmitter gate. Billy, Of course, this is understandable. For my part, I have not dealt with Nocadamian's technology, nor have I retrieved the relevant data. For reasons of principle, I have been content with simply informing myself about what is necessary to be able to enter a foreign universe of the creation and how it can be managed to penetrate or bridge higher energy universes or forms of creation, etc. Of course, I was interested in this information when you told me some time ago that you would soon be making a journey to a foreign universe, as your technology was already so highly developed that it now allowed such a journey. So there ends that conversation. And then following is the original PowerPoint presentation I made on the actual events of the traveling to and what they found and everything. And that starts at the end of December, so about 6 months later from the contact we just read. And these 6 or 7 contacts go over until about July of 2003. So this is quite a concentrated bit of time, but it still does cover a number of various contacts. So just apologies ahead. The sound might be slightly different, and I'm going to look slightly different because that was recorded at another time. Anyway, here we go. Sometime between August and December of 2002, the Plejaren had progressed to the point where it was safe for Ptaah to finally set out with his great spacer and a large crew to explore that other primary creation. Here is a first contact with Florena in which a report is given to Billy. Florena, for my part, I am to send from Ptaah to you and all group members his greetings to everyone, and that to let you know that he and all his companions are well and no problems have arisen. Meanwhile, he has penetrated into the material part of this other universe, as I told you earlier. They have not yet found any life forms of any higher kind. Discoveries of life forms are limited so far only to microorganisms and such. Furthermore, it is a primary universe, respectively, universe of the creation, like our Dern universe. Billy, however, you do stand in ongoing connection with Ptaah, right? Florena, that is the case, yes. Billy, and the universe adjacent to our Dern universe, what form is that? Could that already be fathomed? A channel had to be created through it, probably, which is probably called a wormhole here. In any case, it must be something that falls within this framework. Florena, the adjacent universe, which we have not yet named, as well as the one where Ptaah is not located, is a higher universe, a central universe, which we cannot travel to. So just a little sidestep for clarification purposes, our creation, of which our galactic universe inhabits the 4th belt or level, is simply called a primary creation or universe. A primary creation is the only type of creation that has a material belt with galaxies and stars, planets, suns, etc. However, there are uncountable other higher levels of creation after our primary level creation. And as you can see in this little graphic, we as a primary creation are depicted as the creation at the bottom there. However, it was interesting that Billy seemed to fathom that there was another type of creation universe adjacent to ours, and not meaning our twin, and thus it had to exist between here and the other primary creation and would have to be traveled through somehow to get there. Florena confirms that the adjacent creation is a central universe, which, as you can see in the chart, is 2 stages of evolution away from a primary creation and thus has no physical matter in it. And that is why Florena also confirmed that that is not where Ptaah is, as it is not somewhere they can travel to. So, continuing on. Florena, since it, the central creation, is dimensioned differently in its evolution than our Dern universe and its dimensions, we are only able to create an energy tunnel through it in order to reach the other side of the universe to where Ptaah is located. So what you call a channel, we call an energy tunnel. Billy, Ptaah is over there with his great spacer, and it must take enormous masses of energy to create this tunnel and maintain it. And how do you create this energy? Florena, that is correct. Ptaah is in the foreign universe with his great spacer flying device. I don't know why they call it a flying device. Perhaps that's a translation. It's a massive flying device. Florena, the energy for the creation of this energy tunnel and its maintenance we get from a black hole, as you call it. Other sources would be far too small in every respect to generate the necessary energies. Billy, could you make a comparison? Florena, I am not familiar with this field, but I know that the energies needed per second include several times the mass of energy, as you call it, that a sun like the one in your system releases in 1 second. Billy, as a layman in physics, I'm afraid this is a closed book, but it gives me the notion that an enormous mass of energy is needed, which we on Earth are probably not yet capable of producing by any means, right? Florena, that is absolutely correct. Such enormous energies cannot be created by pure technical means, as they are available to terrestrial human beings or even to us. In fact, gigantic cosmic objects are required for this purpose, which must also be inexhaustible in their energy supply, as is the case only with a black hole. Billy, can any kind of black hole be used for this purpose, i.e. stationary or moving? Florena, in principle, the energies can be used by any kind, but for the specific purpose of the energy tunnel, only the energies of a stationary black hole can be used. In the case of our energy tunnel, however, we do not use a simple black hole to generate energy, but a twin structure, by which I mean two similar black holes that are close to each other and allow their energies to flow into each other. Billy, interesting. I've never heard of that. How far apart are such twin black holes from each other that they can still interact with their energies and still not eat, quote unquote, each other, and therefore not merge, if I may put it that way? Florena, your description is good, as is your assumption that a certain distance between the objects is necessary, which results from their power. To be calculated are the distances in a larger number of light years. The gravitational forces of the black holes alone extend over hundreds, thousands, or even millions of light years, depending on their size. The type of black hole is also important. Billy, I understand there are different kinds of black holes whereby different modes of activities also appear, as Quetzal once explained to me. Florena, that's correct. Billy, well, since nothing of importance has yet emerged in the foreign universe, there is probably no point in discussing it further. So let's leave it alone until something new comes up. And if Ptaah stays over there for a longer time, then the talks with him will fall flat. So that was the end of that contact. The next brief update is about 6 weeks later, on his birthday of February 3rd, 2003, with Andana. Billy, with Ptaah, is everything going well there? And will he return soon? Andana, everything is going according to expectations, which means that no difficulties have arisen and none are to be expected. His return will take some time. Billy, well, what also interests me, what can be expected in terms of life and physical concerns in this foreign universe? Andana, according to the latest information, no human life forms have been found yet, neither in a more highly developed nor in an original form. On several occasions, however, very low life has already been found. Billy, you mean microorganisms? Andana, yes, and in many different forms, but higher life must already exist in the universe because different amino acids were found. Ptaah expects that sooner or later he will also encounter human life. So that was the end of that short little contact. But a few weeks later, on February 16th, Billy is visited by Florena and Zapan Paniak. Zapan Paniak, Ptaah sends you the information that his expedition is successful in its search for human life. Billy, this is indeed a surprise. What kind of human beings were found? Advanced or highly developed? Florena, If by your question you mean primitive human life or human life already capable of high technology, then neither is the case. It is neither low developed nor highly developed life. The life forms found live in natural caves and are therefore still very primitive forms, but nevertheless capable of reason and conscious mind. Billy, oh, cavemen then. Then they will have some tools, right? And Zapan says, as Ptaah reports, the human beings have various stone tools and weapons made of polished or split stones. So they are in possession of self-made stone clubs, knives, and spears. Billy, then one finds that the development takes place similarly as it did on our good old Mother Earth. Zapan, that is right, because wherever human life is created on planets, the same developmental phases and developmental processes naturally take place. Billy, so not only in our universe, but in every one that has a gross material belt and therefore stars, galaxies, planets, nebulas, comets, meteors, and everything else? Zapan, your assumption is correct. Billy, but the expedition will continue. Plejaren, that is the case, yes. The expedition will go on for some months. Billy, I did not think that Ptaah would return so soon. So that ends that brief but significant update. That's pretty interesting. And then we have, about a month later, in March of 2003, Billy is visited by Quetzal. Billy, is there any news about Ptaah? Quetzal, he reported that many new things were discovered which are unknown in our universe and which must have developed and changed and dissolved at the earliest times. Unfortunately, Quetzal doesn't go more into that. Maybe that's something that's in a private conversation. We won't know. Anyway, and then he just starts to talk about the calculations showed that the foreign universe or creation in its total existence is 22 trillion years younger than our Dern universe's creation, which is 46 trillion years old. The material belt, and thus the visible material universe, has a current age of 9 billion years and is therefore much younger than ours. Apart from microorganisms, diverse small life forms, and a planet with primeval human life forms and all kinds of small, medium, large, and very large animals, as well as air and water beings, no highly developed life forms have yet been found, by which I mean beings of the human species. Probably it will take a long time before such life is found, as has been shown by the discovery of the primeval human beings. Highly developed beings must therefore also exist. Billy, well, let us be surprised about what else turns up. And have you actually created a name for the foreign universe yet? Quetzal, a provisional name was given, but in the meantime, according to Ptaah's proposal, the name Radern universe has been established for the foreign universe. Billy, I see. What does this designation mean? Quetzal, Rane, Alino, Dayansini, Aaron, Ruan, Nitra Pralano comes from the old language of Nocdamian and means new foreign creation that unveils itself. On a side note, our universe is called Dern, which is an abbreviation for Dayansini, Aaron, Ruan, Nitra Pralano, which means creation that unveils itself. So this new one is very close in name to ours. And just also as an extra side note, the Dal universe, our twin, is an abbreviation for Dayansini, Arg, Lasarg Noralan, which means creation as second born. Next report we have coming up now is Billy hears from Plejaren in June of 2003. So, Billy, he said, just had a long report and they were saying goodbye to each other. And then he says at the last minute, oh, by the way, has something new come up with Ptaah? And, oh, I've forgotten that, Plejaren says. He sends his regards. Everything goes well with his expedition, which also discovered technological things that testify to more highly developed life of a human nature. It is a highly technological probe drifting through space, but its originators have not been found. Billy, While there can be no doubt that the origin of the object will be found, since Ptaah and his team will surely follow the probe's trail of origin and sooner or later find the makers. Florena, that will certainly be the case. So that was the end of that brief little but interesting tidbit of information. And about 3 weeks later, Billy has an unexpected visitor. And this is where we leave it for part 1. If you would like to find out what goes on, please do join us again for the second part of this presentation in the part 2. See you then. Salome.